Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark, the Mad Movie Mark movie review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1937 screwball comedy romance, The Awful Truth.
I think I ought to tell you, Jerry, nobody's listening to you.
Hey, well, you've obviously been looking at the amount of views I get on my videos, and you're right, but I'm going to continue what I'm doing because I'm having fun and I'm enjoying watching all these great films. If this is your first time joining me, I'm reviewing every movie in this book, the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. The Awful Truth was nominated for a slew of Academy Awards, including Best Picture, which it lost to The Life of Emile Zola, which is the next film that I will be watching. Best Actress in a Lead Role for Irene Dunne. Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Ralph Bellamy. Now, even though this film came out in 1937, you might recognize Ralph Bellamy from either Trading Places or Pretty Woman. I know I've seen both of them probably at least 10 times. Best Director for Leo McCarey. Best Writing Screenplay. And Best Film Editing. Now, this movie perfected the screwball comedy formula. It has fast talking and a battle of the sexes style that defines screwball comedies. It's sharp, playful, and is character driven. This is Cary Grant's breakthrough as a comedic star. This is the film where Cary Grant became Cary Grant. He embraces physical comedy, self-parody, and charm. I will say I'm not normally a Cary Grant fan. In fact, I've talked against him many times, especially there's a film coming up called The Philadelphia Story, which has my favorite actor of all time, James Stewart, but is a movie that I absolutely don't like at all. I will say in this film, though, I thought he was really funny. I thought he did an incredible job, and I really enjoyed him in this movie, which I was not expecting. Maybe I enjoyed him so much because I went to this film thinking that I wouldn't like him at all. This is also Irene Dunne's performance set a standard here. She earned an Academy Award nomination for her role, a mix of elegance, wit, and comedic timing that helped establish the archetype of the smart, independent woman. I will say, I think a lot of the funny bits in this movie are at the very end, where she is pretending to be Jerry's sister in order to sabotage his engagement and his relationship that he's in. Absolutely hilarious. She does a fantastic job, and she definitely, I thought, deserved her Academy Award nomination. I think there were a couple better ones for this year. I'm trying to go back and remember specifically what my favorite role was, but she did really good. I don't think she deserved to win the Academy Award, but she definitely deserved to be nominated for it. Now, this also involved improv and a loose directing style. Leo McCarey encouraged improv, which was unusual at the time. Now, when he won his Best Directing Oscar, in his speech, he said he thought that he received the Oscar for the wrong film because that same year he directed another film called Make Way for Tomorrow. Now, I will talk about a little bit about Make Way for Tomorrow when I review The Life of Emile Zola as well, because I think that this is the best film from 1937. It wasn't nominated for Best Picture, but I do think that he deserved to be to win Best Director for Make Way for Tomorrow, and it deserved to win Best Picture. And I think he's right. I think that he was probably nominated for the wrong film. This film is funny. It's very good, but it's not even the best film that he had that year. So this movie is basically about a married couple. When we first meet them in the beginning of the film, Jerry, who is played by Cary Grant, is coming home to his wife, Lucy. He said he was on a business trip for 2 weeks, but it was a lie, and I don't think we ever really learn where he was. He said, I think said he was in Florida, but he was in California, or like the other way around. But I don't think we ever truly learn where he was or what he was doing. There's a lot of implications here that he was having an affair, but then later in the movie, I think we're led to believe that neither of them actually had an affair like the other person thought. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe I missed it, but I'm not quite sure where he was when. And I do think that there's a lot of reasons to believe that he lied about where he said he was. So he gets home, and when he gets home, his wife is not there. They're throwing a welcome home party for him, but she is not there yet. She is with her, I think it's her singing instructor named Dulaval. And she comes home with him and she says, oh, like the car broke down last night and I had to spend the night at his house, or I had to spend the night at a hotel or something with him. And it was just a terrible mix-up thing. And it's very funny when you think about it. Of course, Jerry does not think this is funny that she spent the night with someone else. She also quickly learns that he did not stay where he said he stayed. So I think they amicably decide that they're going to get a divorce because they both believe that the other person was committed adultery, was unfaithful to each other, and that this is grounds for divorce. The only problem is they share a dog together. The dog is named Mr. Smith, so they basically have to go to like a court to decide who gets custody of Mr. Smith. And when they go to get custody, Lucy cheats and has like a squeak toy, and Mr. Smith runs to her and she ends up getting custody of the dog. Now, this means that at some points, Jerry is going to have to go over to her house because they're going to share custody. So he's going to have to be able to see the dog every now and then. And this is kind of the opening that he has to see her and to sabotage any type of relationship that she tries to get into. Now, she ends up getting into a relationship with Dan, who is played by Ralph Bellamy. He is a rich oil man, and there doesn't seem like there's a whole lot upstairs. I will say he's like from Oklahoma or something, he's from a southern state where life is different and things are done differently, and he's rich, but it doesn't seem like he's used to the type of lifestyle that you would live in like California or something. He's still very much used to how you would grow up in the Midwest. And he ends up proposing to Lucy, and she ends up saying yes, and they end up deciding that they're going to move back to where he was born. I want to say Oklahoma, but also my mom was born in Oklahoma, so maybe that's just clouding my mind. But somewhere in the Midwest, Kansas or Oklahoma or something is where he was born, and they're going to go back to that state. Now, Jerry decides that he's going to sabotage this relationship in any way he can, and it ends up being, it results in some funny scenes, but nothing, I would say nothing as funny as later on with what Lucy does to him. So eventually, Dan's mom does not approve of this marriage. She does not think that it should continue. So they end up not getting married, and she ends up all by herself, essentially. Now, Jerry starts dating a rich woman as well, comes from a very rich stock, and eventually Lucy is at his house, and the phone rings, and she answers the phone, and it's his girl that he's dating. And she's like, well, why did a woman answer your phone? Who are you with? And he lies and says that Lucy is his sister and not his wife/ex-wife. So now he has to carry on this rouge, whatever the word is. He has to carry on this lie that Lucy is now his sister. So he ends up telling his new bride-to-be that he's engaged to that it's a sister, but she can't come visit them because she has all these engagements that she has to go to and everything. But Lucy ends up going to visit them while they're together, and she ends up doing a lot of funny things. She contradicts every story that Jerry tells about her growing up and them growing up together as brother and sister. She does this like dance routine that makes her look a little bit lower class and would cause a rich family to not want to marry into that family. And she just does a lot of really funny things. She even talks with like a less intelligent accent as well to make their family stock seem not that great. Eventually, Lucy and Jerry sabotage each other to where they are no longer engaged and in relationships. And they basically decide that they still love each other and that they are just crazy enough for each other, and maybe their personalities were meant to be together and not meant to be with anyone else. And they decide that they're going to try it again. They're going to go at it again with their relationship, and they're going to stay married. I thought this movie was funny. I thought it was carried. A lot of it was carried by Cary Grant's ability to do physical comedy, which is not something that was seen by main actors back then, by leading men. The physical comedy was seen by the bit players, the extras, but for a leading man to do tumbling and to fall on a chair and stuff like that, it was definitely something that was new, something that a lot the audience hadn't seen before, and I think he does a really great job with it. He carries that first half of the film, and then the second half of the film is basically all Irene Dunne and Lucy. She just does an amazing job. There's even a scene, I think she's drunk at the end of the movie, and she's talking to some police officers who pull her over, and she ends up convincing the police officers to drive them back on their motorcycles, and it becomes a pretty funny scene of Jerry being completely annoyed and Lucy having like the time of her life on these motorcycles. I think that they have incredible chemistry together. They do a fantastic job playing off of each other. I think the movie is very well written, very well directed, very funny. I think it's sad that this was the one that was nominated and not Make Way for Tomorrow, which is just such a better film. If you haven't seen Make Way for Tomorrow, it is one of the saddest movies you will ever watch in your life. It'll basically tear the heart out of your chest, throw it on the ground, and step on it is what Make Way for Tomorrow will do. But it's such a great film, and I think that of the two, I agree with Leo that one should have been nominated. But this is still a good film. This is back when comedies were actually nominated for Best Picture, so these were different times. You don't get that anymore, really, at all, ever. So I appreciate the fact that there was a time in the Oscar season when comedies were nominated for Best Picture, and this one is a good one. I don't know if this one came out around the same time as The Thin Man, but this one I think is funnier than The Thin Man. I'll also say that the dog in this movie, who plays by Mr. Smith, they had to stop filming a lot and like take a lot of breaks while filming this movie because the dog was so tied up in other movies, like doing the Thin Man series and doing other series. He had so much work and was so busy that they had to stop filming and take a lot of breaks, which I think is just hilarious for a dog to be that popular and to be that big of an actor. Is just hilarious. But I thought this movie was really funny. Like I said, I really liked their chemistry together, and the front half definitely carried by Cary Grant, the back half definitely carried by Irene Dunne. I will give this an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review The Life of Emile Zola. Thank you. Have a great day.